Today, we're going to talk about something that affects millions of people, but is still so misunderstood: post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. We're going to break down what it is, how you can recognize it, and most importantly, we're going to look at the very real paths to healing. So, let's dive in.
First things first, we have to understand that a traumatic event isn't just something that happens and then it's over. For some people, it leaves behind this lasting echo. And that echo can mess with your sleep, your mood, your ability to just get through the day long after the actual event is in the past.
This quote, wow, it just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of what this feels like. It's not just about having bad memories. It's the feeling that the past is literally inescapable, like it's always right there, happening over and over again in the present moment.
Okay, so we've talked about the feeling of it, but let's get into the clinical reality. What exactly is post-traumatic stress disorder? Let's get a really clear definition.
Okay, see that key phrase right there? Reshapes how the brain responds to stress? This is so important. PTSD isn't a sign of weakness. It's not about someone failing to just get over it. It's a real biological change in your brain's alarm system. It's like your fight or flight response got triggered by something overwhelming, and now it's just stuck in the on position.
And those changes in the brain? Well, they tend to show up in four main ways. First, you might find yourself reliving the trauma through these vivid, terrifying flashbacks or nightmares. And because of that, you get the second sign. You start actively avoiding anything, people, places, conversations that might remind you of what happened. Then there's hypervigilance, that feeling of being on edge, constantly scanning for danger 24/7. And finally, you might just feel off. Persistent negative feelings, like guilt or shame, or just feeling totally numb and disconnected from everything.
So, knowing those categories is one thing, but being able to recognize the actual signs, whether it's in yourself or in someone you care about, that's the next really critical step. And this is the big question, right? It can be so hard to know when what you're feeling crosses that line from a normal human reaction to a horrible event into something that really needs professional support. So what you really want to look for are these specific patterns. Are memories just popping into your head when you don't want them to, wrecking your focus, or keeping you up at night? Are you suddenly snapping at people you love for no reason? Have you started to pull away from your friends? Or maybe you're using alcohol or something else just to numb out for a little while? These are all major red flags.
And here's the key guideline from a clinical standpoint. If those symptoms we just talked about are sticking around for more than a month and they're impacting your life, that's a really strong signal that it's time to talk to a professional.
Now, let's talk about a huge misconception. For so many people, when they hear PTSD, their mind instantly jumps to soldiers and combat. But is that really the whole picture?
Yeah, the answer is a clear and definite no. PTSD can happen to absolutely anyone after any kind of traumatic experience. We're talking car accidents, natural disasters, abuse, a sudden medical emergency, or the unexpected loss of a loved one. It's a human response to an inhuman experience, and it absolutely does not discriminate.
And this brings us to the most important part of this whole explainer: hope. Because PTSD is not a life sentence. I want to repeat that. It is not a life sentence. There are proven, evidence-based ways to heal.
The first thing to know is that treatment isn't some kind of boot camp where you're forced to confront things you're not ready for. It's about compassionate, personalized care. A good therapist gets it. They know this has to go at a pace that feels safe for you. You are always in the driver's seat.
And there is a whole toolbox of effective strategies that we know work. This includes specialized therapies like CBT and EMDR, which we'll touch on in just a sec. It might also mean medication to help manage the really tough symptoms, practical grounding techniques you can use in the moment, and, this is a big one, support for your family, because trauma really does impact everyone around you.
So what's the deal with these therapies? Well, think of CBT as a way to kind of rewire your thinking. It helps you catch and challenge those negative thought patterns like, "it was my fault," or "the world isn't safe," that keep you stuck. EMDR is a little different. It uses things like guided eye movements to help your brain reprocess and correctly file away those traumatic memories so they lose their intense emotional charge.
At the end of the day, all of this, all these therapies, all these strategies, they are all aimed at one single powerful goal: reclaiming your life from the grip of trauma. Just let that sink in for a moment. This is the promise of good treatment.
It's not about erasing what happened, it's about integrating it in a healthy way so you can get back your sense of peace, so you can learn to trust people again, and so you can actually find joy in everyday life.
And this brings us right back to where we started. Remember that feeling of the past being ever-present? Well, the key takeaway here is that with the right kind of structured, compassionate care, the past doesn't have to live in the present anymore. You can put it back where it belongs.
So, we'll leave you with this question. Whether this is for you or for someone you love, just know that healing is a journey of small, brave steps. Recognizing the need is one, learning about the options, like you're doing right now, is another. What could that very first next step look like for you?